guys, what is going on? It is me, Mr. Mario, back again, resurrecting something that I haven't brought in a while. It is Tales from the Classroom. And what am I playing? I'm playing some Forza 5 today. Now, I'm not the best at it, not gonna lie, but I needed to get some footage from my Xbox One. I am gonna be using footage from other games from previous gen, but I really wanted some Xbox One footage and I wanted to try this out. And just look, when I'm playing this game, just please look at it. It's gorgeous. It is. I love it. Anyways, what am I talking about? I'm going to try and squeeze this in a little bit, but today I wanted to talk about my 9th grade geometry class. Now, geometry was offered it was typical for 10th graders to take it over here in high school. However, if you were a year ahead, like I was and a few other friends in math, you could take it in grade 9. Now, the way we have it set up is weird. Pretty much, we have 9th graders in one building, and then 10th, 11th, and 12th graders in another building. And there were a few teachers that commuted to and from. So our teacher, we're going to call him Mr. Smith. This guy is awesome. Mr. Smith, he only taught 1 hour a day at the 9th grade center. 1 hour, that was it. It was first hour, so first thing in the morning when you're still waking up, it's like 7:30 in the morning. It sucked, but he was an awesome teacher and he made up for that. He only taught that 1 hour. The other 2 geometry teachers that were in the building were not that good, but Mr. Smith was the best. He was also a young guy as well. He was in like his mid-20s, I want to say. And he was a really awesome guy just because we were all, 14 years old at the time. My buddy Sean and I were in there. He's going to be the only person I'm keeping the name true to everything in here, just due to the fact that you all have seen him on here before. And he was in my unboxing video recently. But Sean was in there with me early in the morning, and we were, doing stuff with shapes. Now, the cool thing about Mr. Smith was he played video games. We actually, at least, I don't know about Sean, but at least I do. I still have him on my Xbox Live friends list, and we played Halo 3 together back in the day as well. And it was great because we just talked about games because he liked games, and then, we were both 14 years old, and we didn't have lives at the time because we were 14. So pretty much all we did was play video games, and that was a great year for games too, 2007 to 2008. I think I've covered that before. But I wanted to share a few things from the class, and then some things afterwards what happened. Well, there's 2 specific stories I could think of that were quite humorous, at least that I enjoy. Now, see, in geometry class, in case you haven't had it, or maybe you did but you forgot, or at least it was maybe exclusive for our class, I don't know. We had a lot of story problems, or word problems, which were really annoying. And you could tell Mr. Smith did not like sharing these problems. He didn't. He was reading off the slides and all that, and he's just like, I don't want to do this. I just want to get into what I'm doing. But anyways, one day we're talking, and, well, more specifically, he's talking, he's presenting, and he's just like, so, as you can see here, the water that comes out of a whale's blowhole is called the whale's blow. And when you measure the whale's blow, and he just like cuts right there. And you could tell he turns into poker face, like right there, and he's just thinking, wait a minute, I just said whale's blow in front of a bunch of 14-year-olds. Everyone busts out laughing. It's still kind of funny to this day, not as funny as it was there. It's probably one of those bar stories like, hey, you really had to be there for it to be funny, but I don't know, that's going to play as something later on. Now, the main thing I want to talk about, the second story I have with this, was what I like to call the 180 sneeze. Now, where we sat, Sean was sitting behind me, closest to the window. I sat in front of Sean, in the row, right in front of him. And there was one morning where I felt a sneeze coming on. Now, I am known for having loud sneezes, okay? Maybe it's just because my separator in my nose is crooked and that somehow causes it. I don't know. But I have loud sneezes. Anyways, what happened was, early in the morning, just imagine this. I feel a sneeze coming on. Now, Sean told the story from his perspective as well, and I'm going to combine the 2. Now, Sean said that morning he knew I was going to sneeze because he could hear me about to sneeze, and he's like, oh, Danny's probably just going to sneeze to the left or right or in his hand, or worst case scenario, he's going to sneeze on the girl in front of him. Well, for some reason, I still don't know why to this day, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to sneeze on Sean. So, right before I sneeze, in the middle of lecture, Mr. Smith is lecturing. He's like, well, the X of this is blah, blah, blah. No one's expecting anything. I turn around in my chair. Achoo! Sneeze on Sean. Sean immediately gets out of his desk and just yells, dude! And then he's taking his hand and he's wiping it on his jeans. Because I hit his hand the most, but I also hit his face as well. And he's trying to wipe everything off. He's just going... like he's making noises like that. Everyone turns around. Lecture stops. They're all staring at him. Because he's just in the middle of the room. Just standing, wiping his hand, making all these noises. And I just turn back around like nothing happened. And then he looks at Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, he wasn't mad. He just had this look on his face like... okay, you know, there has to be a good reason as to why you're interrupting my class. And Sean's just like, I'm good, you can continue. And he sits back down. And that was it. Now, that is not the end of this story. The reason why I want to share this story, this class with you all specifically, is because Mr. Smith was an awesome teacher. He actually nominated me for Student of the Month, which was this self-explanatory Student of the Month reward that you would get, but a teacher had to nominate you for it. I still don't know why to this day he nominated me, because I did all right in his class, but he nominated me anyways, and I got it, and it was pretty awesome. Now, I still stay in contact with him later on. Throughout high school, he actually ended up becoming an administrator, which is more what he wanted to do, well, a counselor specifically. So we stay in contact. After graduation, you know, then when your teachers can legally still talk to their students and all that, you know, we had each other on Facebook and everything, so we would talk back and forth. And it even got to the point, I remember, when Halo 4 came out, Sean and I, again, Sean, he's like one of my best friends, we were going to be co-oping it, and Mr. Smith had an Xbox. He heard that I was, you know, kind of good with Xboxes, so he wanted to see if I could fix one up for him. So he dropped it by my place, I remember. And I remember this is the time when I was living at the house by myself. I pull up, Sean pulls up, and Mr. Smith gets out. First thing he says, he's just like, well, Danny, here's a son of a bitch right here. And it was funny because, first off, we're like, whoa, I know we haven't had you as a teacher for like 5 years, but it's so weird hearing you cuss. And second, he said we don't have to call him Mr. Smith anymore, but we were just like, dude, sorry, we know you as that. We have to tell you that. It's a term of endearment. But I think the best part overall wrapping this up was at the end, I asked him, I was like, hey, do you remember the time I sneezed on Sean? And do you remember the whales blow? And Sean busts out laughing. And he's just like, okay, you know, I think I remember the whales blow. Because I remember people laughed at that every year and I just eventually took it out. And I don't remember a sneeze, but I do remember Sean freaking out in the middle of the class for something. But now I know why he freaked out. But anyways, to this day, we still keep in contact. He even wanted to play the Xbox One with me, but he couldn't because his kid got sick recently. But soon, I'll invite him over and he's going to play this. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario, signing off. Thank you for watching, everyone. And don't be me, people. Don't be me. Don't sneeze on your friends. It's bad.